Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. Good to see everybody coming in here. Hey, Linda, you number one in here tonight, girl. Hello, hello, hello to you. Good to see you. Hey, Goo Baby, how you doing? We just need justice for this little girl. All of them need to be in jail. Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Teddy, number three. Hello, Prayer Garden. Hello, hello to you. Good to see you. Much love. God bless. Hey, Kaylee, how you doing? Good evening, Prayer Garden. Hope you're doing well. Purple Hearts for Summer. We love her. Absolutely. God knows it. All right. Amen. Amen, Teddy. Purple Hearts for Summer. Wow, that's beautiful. Teddy said, hello, everyone. Hey, Lisa. Hey, hey, hey to you, girl. Good to see you. Good to see everybody in here tonight. Let me see. Crystal, how you doing, sweetie? Miss Justice. Hi, dude. Much love, PG. Prayers, love, and justice for summer. Amen. Amen. Hey, Patty Allen, how you doing? Pamela Sue, how you doing, sweetie? Hello, PG mods and chat. Much love and prayers. Much love and prayers to you, sweetie. Hello, PG. Crystal, how you doing? Patty Allen, Lynn, Deputy Sheriff. Good to see you in here tonight. God bless. Much love to you. Let's see. Minnie Pearl and Georgia Wildtown. There's 8048. Good to see you. Anna, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. My fragile little mind. Amen. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Good to see everybody coming in here tonight. Oh, that is beautiful, girl. That is beautiful. Purple hearts. More purple hearts for summer. God bless. Spread the love. How you doing? All right. We're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. I got two hellos from PG. Girl, I want to tell you what. I'm trying to do this and I am multitasking right now. I am multitasking. So bear with me. PG is always multitasking. Sometimes PG wonders. I gotta wonder if this kind of stuff end up giving me some type of brain damage. Right? I might overthink or outthink myself. You guys don't know. Oh, that's so sweet. Absolutely, Australia. Much love to you, sweetie. Much love to you. Okay, you guys. Uh, I got a camera. I got a camera set up right in front of me. Got my baby. Got my baby on it sleeping. And I'm trying to keep an eye on him while I'm doing everything else. So bear with me. You guys gotta bear with me. Hey Moonchild. How you doing? Hey PG. Hey, hey, hey to you, girl. I can't take the hot weather anymore. Oh God. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually go outside. I actually go outside. Like, um, my kids and my husband, they keep the house cold. I mean, it's like I don't know what's up with them. They always have the AC, like, freezing cold. And I'd be running around the house with a sweatshirt on, a sweater. I'm like, you know, I don't like all that cold. I'm just the opposite. You know, I like to I like to go out, so I go outside. I go outside and hang out. Um, I'd rather be in the heat, right? I think my family is a bunch of Eskimos for real. They would you could mother freaking move them to the North Pole. They'd be comfortable. They'd be comfortable. And I'm talking about outside, like unbelievable. Exact right, Anna. That girl. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'd be freezing. You, you'll see me come through the house. I got mother freaking sweatshirt on and uh blanket around me and everything else. I'm like, I stay in the kitchen a lot because I like to cook, and most of the time I got the oven on and baking and cooking and stuff, and I mean, like, thanking goodness for the kitchen. It's cold. It's cold in my house all year round, and I look forward to the winter. I look forward to the winter. When I can turn on some heat, and they'll turn it down. They'll turn it down. They just like the cold. I don't know what's up with them. My little ass don't like the cold. This is perfect time to come visit your family, Australia. My family would love it. They would love it. They'd be out snow skiing and building snowmen, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. They go outside, they go outside for a few minutes, they run back in. They run back in, especially my husband, the kids' uncles. The kids stay out, um, if they're doing, playing basketball, or they're out there, riding dirt bikes or whatever, but um, or dune buggies, stuff like that. But they're in the house, um, a lot too. If they're not got people around, other kids coming over and stuff like that, they're in the house a lot too. So, but they love the cold. They absolutely. I don't understand it, but I guess I'm the oddball out, right? even even my baby kicks the covers off. I'm afraid my baby might be an Eskimo too. I don't know. For real. Anyhow, did you guys hear what Fred said? Did anybody hear what Fred said? OMG. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that he said that Andy sent his son up on Ben Hill Road, 110 Ben Hill, to get Summer and bring her down so Andy could have one of them vehicles start out of there with Summer in it that day. That's what he's saying. That's exactly what he is saying. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I would love to know what Chris was thinking, right? Penny for his thoughts on what they were saying, right? I'm like, damn, what did he just say? Right? I was like, oh damn, no he didn't. Yes he did.
Dennis told me that Summer, when they went to every house Summer got to Knoxville, but she was transported in three different cars, and
Yeah, he's got some guy named Dennis Smith. Um, you gotta kind of be careful when people use the last name Smith, right? Like, um, Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Um, yeah, I don't know about that Smith thing. You know, I don't know about that. There sure is a lot of Smiths out there in the world. Um, you know, that's that's a big red flag. I think Chris probably knew that, right? Somebody using the name Smith. Um, yeah, that's a red flag right there. But this Dennis Smith, that Fred, met him inside, the habitat um for rehabilitation. Um the habitat for rehabilitation. Somehow he lost connection with the guy. And then he talks about another guy. Um I don't know, big something. Big big somebody. Um he was talking about. Oh, okay, my bad. It was big small. You're right. No, it was big playboy. It was big playboy or doughboy or something. Some fucking boy thing. Um I'm kind of wondering where he come up with that at. But he talked to Chris about that too. And I don't know. I don't know.
a real short period of time. So if somebody seen her get in this car, then if it was pulled over or anything, she wouldn't be there.
Okay.
But that
Okay,
makes
that's
me
fine.
that makes me wonder then, by me seeing Andy on the road, and then that blue truck sitting in there, and then that white HHR, it makes me wonder if that's the three vehicles she was passed between.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, what about, how did they get her off the property?
Kind of way I took it, the way Dennis talked, probably Andy got his son to bring her to the bottom of the hill.
And where at? Exactly.
He didn't say. He just talked like that. He got his son involved just enough to keep him from speaking.
He got his son involved enough to keep him from speaking. So basically, Fred is saying that Don and Andy had a debt, and Andy decided to come home in the middle of the day on June 15th, 2021. Andy decided to come home in the middle of the day, 2 or 3 o'clock, and tell his boy, you get up there and you get that little girl and you get her down here because me and Don owes a debt and we're going to use his daughter as collateral for this debt. So they're going to be here any minute to pick his daughter up because they're not going to get mine. We're going to give them his. So you get up there and you get that little girl down here so we can get more time to pay this debt. Because Donald got his 50% and he should, his daughter should pay for the whole 100% in case I can't come up with my share. Well, that'll be Don's loss and not ours. What? I don't think so. I don't think so. But what I got to wonder about, but I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna let you guys finish hearing this.
So Andy got his son involved?
Yeah, that's from what I was told out in Knoxville by Dennis.
To go up and get Summer?
Yeah.
Tell him about.
And did Summer obviously on her own go with him, you think?
I would think she probably would because, see, the last time I seen Summer physically, seen her was about 3 weeks before she actually was reported missing. And I went up to the Wells's and I went up there going to ask Don if he had a gallon of gas I could borrow so I could make it sure I made it to town. I was going to go bring it back to him. But when I pulled up, Don wasn't there or nothing. But it was odd that Damien and Summer was in a swimming pool where the red barrel was that the video was made of her dancing. Before that barrel was there was a swimming pool there. And Damien and Summer was in that swimming pool. Damien had his back kind of towards the door of the house, and there was just them two out there, and Candace came out after I pulled up. And he was just sitting.
And how old is Damien?
He was 19 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And this is Andy and Jody Sue's son.
Yes.
Which you didn't know what that was even his name.
Is this the boy who supposedly reported hearing the scream?
Absolutely. The fake scream. Yes. The fake scream. That's true.
Yes. The animalistic scream.
Yeah.
But I thought it was odd.
What exactly would an animalistic scream sound like? What exactly would that sound like? You gotta wonder, what would that sound like? Like, ah. I mean, how would that sound? Who the fuck knows? Right? I don't know. Would it sound kind of like Tarzan in the jungle? The mighty jungle? The lions sleep tonight. Right? What the hell? I don't even know. I don't even know, you guys. This is so weird.
That Summer would be outside in the pool, just him and her. Of course, when I pulled up, I mean, he was just sitting with his back kind of towards the door of Dawn and Candace's upstairs, and he had his arms leaned out on the edge of the pool, just sitting there in the pool. But
Don and Candace is upstairs. He said he was just kind of sitting in a pool with his arms up on the sides, looking up into Don and Candace's upstairs. Wouldn't that be their house? I mean, I don't think I would say Don and Candace is upstairs, because they ain't got a fucking upstairs. They ain't got an upstairs. They got a house with a basement. Right? There is no upstairs. There's a basement. I mean, if someone lives in a one-floor plan that's got a basement, you don't say, I was looking at their upstairs. Right? Where's the downstairs? There is no downstairs. Like, that is fucking downstairs. And that, you got to think about that for a minute. You got to, you got to think about this for a second. He said he was looking at Donnie Candace's upstairs, as if he could. I mean, that tells me that Fred knows a lot more about that house. Fred knows a lot more about that house than he's telling us. He knows, he sees the basement. He sees the basement as the main floor. And he sees, the kitchen and everything like that as the upstairs, So that tells me, because this is a mother freaker that lives in a trailer. Fred lives in a trailer. Pretty much been in a trailer his whole damn life. And he's talking about, upstairs, downstairs. There's something in that to be had. There is something in those words to be had. Now, just, not really thinking about it, I mean, it ain't like I had time to dwell on it, because, I just now caught what he said, that the boy is looking at the upstairs. But just right off the top of my head with, that little catchphrase is making me, think that Fred is very affiliated with that house. It's making me believe that, that he's hung around in there quite a bit, and listen to Don and Candace, because, Candace talks about, where's the kids downstairs, because those kids, Candace and Don and those kids, and then they call the basement the downstairs. Like Candace is like, when I went into the house and I asked, where's Summer? The boys were like, she's downstairs, Mom, playing with their toys. So that tells me that Fred was very, very familiar with, very familiar with the family calling that the downstairs and the other part upstairs, which, you wouldn't know, like Like if you didn't know the Wells the way that Fred's trying to say he don't know the Wells, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't be affiliated with, them splitting the house up into a downstairs upstairs. Because that's a 1 floor fucking plan. There is no damn downstairs. There's only an upstairs and a basement. Right? I mean, if I didn't know these people, I would say, and I pulled up to their house, I say, they got a 1 floor plan and probably a basement, you know. I wouldn't say they got a downstairs because that basement isn't the downstairs. What I'm trying to say is a home has a basement. It has, a first floor and then it has an upstairs, right? Upstairs is considered the second floor from a ground floor. It's not considered, from a basement. So that tells me he's affiliated with the terms that Don and Candace and, that family uses to describe their floor mat of their home. And therefore, he must have, been very affiliated with these people and been there a hell of a lot more than he's talking about. Just saying. And seeing that, that basement was, seeing that basement was used, in my opinion, used for some, disgusting things. Some very disgusting shenanigans going on up there. I gotta wonder how much involvement old Freddie boy has. How affiliated is he with the downstairs in order to say Jody Sue's son was looking at the upstairs, right? Well, fuck, Fred. How's he gonna look at the downstairs when it's under the fucking ground? Right? Can't very well look at the downstairs when it's underground. It's a damn basement. He was actually looking. I mean, I would have phrased that different. I think anybody would have phrased that differently. Unless you were affiliated with these people and had picked up their term of what they call the floor mat of their home. You just got used to being around them and hearing them call the basement downstairs. Or you guys need to go upstairs. You would have to hear this shit in a house like that in order to phrase it the way Fred did. That's the best I can, clarify what's in my mind right now. Just saying. Hold on, you guys. I gotta go check on my baby. Okay, sorry about that. But I had to go. He's rolling. He's moving around now. So he kind of got out of the sight of my camera. So I had to go put him back in the sight of my camera, right? And I need him in the sight of the camera. So okay. Anyway.
Summer was just jumping around in the pool on the other side of him and kind of in front of him, a playing. But why, it don't make sense to me, why would Summer only be out there playing with him and stuff? Why wouldn't the other boys be out there playing? You would thought if he was up there playing with the kids, he would be there playing with the boys and not Summer.
What exactly are you trying to insinuate, Fred? Right? What are you trying to insinuate? I don't know what Jody Sue's son was doing on Ben Hill Road in a swimming pool. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say that that's true or not true because I wasn't there. I don't know. I mean, I would, if it was on a scale, if it was on a scales, I would weigh more to the side. I would weigh more to the side that, says, that is bullshit. Coming out of Fred's mouth. But there's a little truth in every lie. There's truth in every lie. Fred is a hard person to believe because he changes his story too many times. He's not, Fred is not, straight on, he's not straight on with everything that, when people tell the truth, it's the truth, consecutively. Like his shit keeps changing. But I gotta say, this is one of the stories that he has kept, consecutively over the 4 years. He has always said that the boy was in the pool, that boy was in the pool. He has said that, now where I'm wondering if it's true is he told Chris that Candace came out of the house when he told me, and he said Don wasn't there. But when I talked to him about it, he told me that Don and Candace was in the house and the boys were all in the that they were all inside the house and just, and he said Don was there. So, that's why I think he's lying, because I mean he's keeping the part that the boy was in the pool consecutive, but he's not keeping the part of who was there consecutive. And and that tells me that it could be pure bullshit. Because he's wanting with me, he says Dom was there. With Chris, he's trying to, I noticed with Chris that Fred is trying to protect Donald. Put a 1 in the chat if you took note to that, because I did. I took the time to, listen to this particular interview. I can't stand Fred and Lord or Ziggy's voices, but I took the time because see, I was really interested in Chris's manner of questioning, his line of questioning. That's what I had to figure out a way that would interest me in hearing this shit, because I couldn't stand. I tried listening to it yesterday. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it, you know. And I wanted to, but I was having a hard time. You know, it wouldn't. It just wasn't holding my interest at all. So I was like, what the hell about this might hold my interest? What about this might, you know, intrigue me to listen to it? I mean, I can't listen to shit I ain't interested in. I got a real problem with that. And I thought, maybe Chris's line of questioning could help. Maybe, you know, getting interested in, you know, a little bit of how he, you know, the techniques he uses to direct, you know, the people he's talking to into a corner of, you know, answering him as he would, you know, want an answer to come from. I wanted to know his strategy, you know, because when you're questioning people, you know, sometimes they're open and just tell you. Sometimes you know, you gotta kind of put them in a corner, you know, corner them up. They don't know they're getting cornered, but they are. And you know, I was just interested in his techniques and his you know, what kind of skill he uses to, and you know, and I was interested in his tone of voice. You know, what kind of tone of voice does he use? You know, and what kind of manipulation and so forth and so on. You know, and now that kind of stuff interests me. And Chris is very good at it. He's very good at it because, you know, he welcomes you into his circle. You know, he welcomes you into his circle in order to get the answers, you know, to the questions he has for you. He tries to identify with you. Things like that, you know. And he's very skilled. I give him that. I give him that. I hand him that for sure. And I do like his strategy. I like the way he, you know, he uses back to back questioning. You know, he pivots, you know, off of one question to another one. You know, what I'm saying is he knows how to stack it up A to Z. And bounce one question to another that's, you know, that coincides with the first question he asked, you know, to keep them moving in a certain direction. And that got me to, you know, be able to actually listen to all of the stuff that's being said. And I think Chris did a wonderful job. The problem was, you know, you had Ziggy too involved, you know, to really you know, get a real handle on Fred and who Fred truly is. What I'm saying is Ziggy wasn't staying the fuck out of it and giving Fred the leniency to, answer for himself every question, and she kept stepping in too much, and she was like, we don't know what Fred would have said if Ziggy wouldn't have been, coercing him. And you just can't have people coercing someone, when you're questioning them. You're not going to get, you're not going to get what you need in order to, when I'm, that's the one thing I don't like about YouTube is you got to be real, you got to, like, you just can't say what you want to say. And that's, that's a problem. It hinders the people out here, That's why you hear a lot of us repeating ourselves or stopping to, a long pause to think for a minute, because you've got to express everything in a certain fucking way. And I'm one of those people that, I don't like. This is America. It's supposed to be the land of the damn free, the home of the brave. It's supposed to be for freedom of speech. Only they do censor you, and that's wrong. They do censor us. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't think I'm going to really give a crap about all of that tonight. I'm just going to put it on the table. We did not get the answers that we needed for Summer Moon Utah Wells because Ziggy fucking was staying in the middle of it, fucking it up, and therefore nothing could be used because of her. Now that clarified it. That clarified it right there for everybody. And that's why Chris probably threw that interview in the trash, because he wasn't interviewing Fred. He was interviewing fucking Ziggy and her 2 fucking cents. That only screwed up what information we could have had for Summer's sake. Right? She's with the number 1 suspect, and she won't let the fucker freely speak to nobody. Why? What the hell does Fred have to hide, Ziggy, that you feel like you have to cover his fucking ass all the time? I mean, you obviously, and I know that Fred's in the bushes. He's always in the fucking bushes. But what the hell do you have to hide, Ziggy? Because the only way I talk for someone is to keep them out of trouble. Okay? The only time I step up and talk for someone is when I feel they, like they're going to fuck up or say something that's going to, possibly get them in trouble. Right? I mean, you always, if you're an attorney, you always tell your clients to not talk, to not say anything, to watch what they say, to limit their conversations. to speak to you before they go speaking to someone else. When the prosecutor's up there badgering, you're standing up talking for your client, right? As soon as your client gets a question that you don't want answered, you immediately jump up and call out for that damn answer not to be answered. You're sticking up for this person because you know that what they say can possibly, be bad for them. You're there to protect your client. Now, sometimes the judge will allow it, sometimes he won't. But she's talking for him. No, she won't let him talk. And that tells me that, she's got a number one suspect in her house that she feels is hiding a whole lot of shit where the Summer Moon Utah Wells case is concerned. And she don't give a damn. She's still going to lay around with him and try to protect him just to have him there with her ass. She's a real stand outside the fucking prison gate and pick up criminals type of girl, right? Absolutely. Who the hell does that? Who in the hell subjects herself to criminals and suspects, especially a suspect in a 5-year-old innocent little child's case? Who in the hell brings that into their house? I don't know. I'm not out there looking for somebody on fucking death row, trying to save them so I can bring them home with me. What the fuck? Oh, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, Huckleberry Hound is really fucking desperate. And that's exactly what she looks like. Huckleberry fucking Hound. Right? That's what she looks like. Yeah. You know what, Carolyn, I agree with you. I mean, the way they were at, you couldn't believe that somebody could, it's hard to, it's hard for us to, process. We have a hard time processing, mother freaking people with that that's that evil and that cold-hearted, right? I mean, is even though you got a real good insight on it, it's hard to believe. You don't. Normal humans don't want to believe that somebody could be that fucking ice cold to, destroy an innocent child and act like they haven't done nothing, right? Like I did nothing, going on with everyday life. Like, they just wadded up a bubblegum wrapper and threw it in the garbage, like it was nothing. It's, so I could see exactly how you would think that, that they knew where she was and that she was okay and, all of this stuff, because like I said, it's hard for us to understand that type of evilness. It's not in us. So we don't understand it. There is, but I don't think Summer is out there somewhere okay. I do not believe that. I believe Dawn and Candace, I mean, I don't know why it shocks us, that they could be so evil and cruel and do such a, heinous thing to these children. I mean, we see people every day, right? People every day are abusing their kids. Every day there's people, sticking their kids inside of those boxes for firefighters to run and get out. And there's people walking out of hospitals just leaving their baby laying there. There's people, putting their kids in garbage cans and everything else. I mean, that's the type of society we live in. That's the world, the world we live in. People are walking off. I mean, people go and, people go and they walk into these places that, destroys babies every day. And they walk out and they go right on with their life, right? They go on living with their life and don't even look back, don't even think about, they don't think about, they don't even think about what God might have named that baby in heaven. They don't think about nothing. They just, this is a horrible fucking world, to be honest. It's just a horrible fucking world. And people do not value life. Millions of children a year, millions of children a year destroyed in this world. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, it's just how it is. And I don't know why, we're so shocked that these motherfuckers sitting up on that hill are such cold-hearted pieces of shit that could do the evil deeds that they done to these kids. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that we live in a world like this, but we do. And a lot of people support evilness. A whole lot of people support evilness. I don't support it. I don't support it at all. I think every child has a right to live. I think every child in the world has a right to be born. to live their life, to be taken care of righteously, to be able to grow up and live their dreams without all this violence. But there's people out there that just, Don and Candace didn't want kids. Don didn't want kids. Candace didn't want kids. They had kids, but they didn't want them. And therefore, they were able to use and abuse and destroy these babies in so many different ways. And that's the truth. I'm not going to say in my opinion, because that's just the fucking truth and we all know it. We got 2 in Arkansas, 2 in Wisconsin, 1 over in Arkansas, 4 up in Tennessee. And that ain't the only children that they have, that they have destroyed in this world. Absolutely not. They have destroyed other children that belong to other people. Like Allison's children, like the other lady's son that was up there. They finally had to, the mother had to literally go through every channel of the court system to get her son off that hill. How about the children over in Arkansas that they were bringing in by boatloads onto their property and allowing some big weirdo called the boogeyman run around, which I believe that boogeyman was dating Donald's oldest stepdaughter for a while over there in Arkansas. These people hang with evil people. That fucking boogeyman got life in prison. He got 130 fucking years in prison. And he was at the Wells property, living up there at the Wells property in Arkansas during the time that Lisa Jensen was there and all of these other women like Lisa who had children that they were bringing into that house. Not for Lisa. They didn't give a damn about Lisa. They cared about that kid Lisa had and how they could get their paws on it. Just like Allison. They didn't give a fuck about Allison. They just cared about her kids and how they could get their paws on them. These are some real sick son of a bitches. I mean, this is nothing new to the Wells. This is nothing new to Don and Candace. This is nothing new to Pam, Don's first wife. This is nothing new to these people. And these people are running shit out of New York City. They're running shit out of Virginia, West Virginia. They're running stuff out of Tennessee. They're running stuff out of different states. They're not, over into Arkansas. These people are like a network of weirdos. A big fucking network of weirdos. They're all fucking weird. They're all into the same sick, demonic bullshit. And a lot of people, don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. They don't want to talk about it. people want to turn a blind eye to that kind of shit. Why? Because they're afraid of it. They're afraid. People are afraid of that shit. It scares them. They're like, oh shit, that ain't my business. Not my business. Leave me out of that one. And then they wonder why so much evil happens in this world. Well, I think God said he gave us a spirit of courage, not fear. Just some people, don't know they got that courage. They're fucking scared to use the courage God gave them. They're afraid to use the courage that the Lord himself instilled in them. Ain't that funny? Isn't that funny? Bible plainly states cowards will not get into heaven. So if you're afraid, you're probably not getting into heaven. If you're scared, probably ain't going to get in heaven. I'm going to tell you, the only thing you better be scared of is God himself. What you better be scared of is not using all the tools he gave you. What you better be scared of is being scared. That's what you better be scared of. You better be scared to be a coward. Better get up and put your big boy or big woman's bloomers on and stop being scared. And I think that's why Summer's case ain't solved. It ain't solved because too many people scared. Too many people afraid to come forth. Andy don't want to put on his big boy underwear and come forth. He's wearing his little G-string. Probably belonged to Jody Sue. Right? I'm going to tell you something. Watching a mechanic. I mean, Andy's supposed to be a mechanic, right? He's supposed to be a mechanic. They ain't nothing. There is nothing worse than seeing a mechanic or a plumber with a damn G-string on. Just saying. That's just my opinion. Right? I mean, a mother freaking plumber or a mechanic, you ain't even supposed to be able to see anything other than the crack that they forgot to feel, right? That's all you're supposed to be seeing. You ain't supposed to be seeing two big motherfucking strings hanging from one string going through that crack that somebody forgot to feel. It's like, what the fuck wrong with you? Right? What the hell is wrong with you? Whoa. It's like, where the fuck did this Fruit Loop come from? That shit ain't look sexy. That looked nasty. Just looked nasty. I mean, I ain't picking up no man like that. I ain't picking up no fucking man like that. You know, you pick up a man like that, you know, you're going to have to wear the breeches. Right? You're going to have to be wearing the breeches. You're going to be the one coming downstairs, you know, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when you hear a noise. His ass going to be hiding up there in his fucking G-string saying, "Do you see anything? Did you see anything?" Should I get under the bed or in the closet? Don't tell him that I'm here. If there is somebody, don't let them know I'm here. Let me hide under the bed. Bitch, I'm going to be giving your ass out ASAP. I'm going to tell if they somebody did get in, I'm going to tell them, you take whatever the fuck you want, but you got to come up here and see this first. I got some funny shit up here, hiding under a bed. You don't want to miss this. Yeah. Some freaking man in a damn G-string. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. That's just fucking weird. But Andy wears one. I seen it. With me own 2 eyes. Yeah. Man, he pulled his shirt up. Oh, dude pulled his shirt up. He was, he was straight flaunting it for Ryan. Ryan finds truth. Ryan, like, put the camera right fucking on it. Then he pulls the camera back, and his face was priceless. Mother freaking priceless. He like, what the fuck? Right? He had that what the fuck look on his face. Even he couldn't believe it. I think he thought Andy was trying to turn him on. I don't know. Maybe he was. I have no idea. You know, these people are all fucking weird. Right? They're all kinds of weird. I was like, whoa. That was like a cold fucking shower. That was like a cold shower, baby. One that didn't seem to ever turn off. You ever see that good looking man that's talking to you and everything? You're all married up, you got a ring on your finger. But this guy is just, so freaking adorable. So nice, so kind, so damn good looking. I mean, we're all human, right? We're all human. I mean, one of them guys that really turn your head. All you got to do is think about Andy in that damn thong, and you'll have no problem saying no. Not today, buddy. Gotta go. I'm married. See ya. It's a forever fucking cold shower in your brain. Like hell no. All you gotta do is picture Andy's backside on the sky and you're gone. You'll be faithful as hell to your husband. Faithful as hell.
TV, no noise at all. We were kind of hyper alert because of property things that had happened the day before. So we were listening for noise. Everything was kind of quiet. While we were out at one point doing survey lines, and there was a flash of a car that went up Candace and Donnie's driveway. Something about it struck me wrong.
The next sound was harder to justify. About an hour and a half before Summer is thought to go missing, Jody Sue, her son, and her daughter heard something far more suspicious. A scream.
Stopped all three of us cold.
Her daughter was the first to go to the cabin door. Then all three were there, listening still.
We heard just this kind of shrill, almost animalistic scream.
OMG, what the fuck? We heard this shrill, animalistic scream. Right? Woo! Yeah. Oh my God. And the key word was an hour. An hour before Summer ever came up missing. An hour. A fucking whole hour. It was a whole hour off, Jody Sue. That was the key to it. Because an hour before Summer supposedly came up missing, she was planting flowers. She was in the custody of Grandis and Candace. Right? She was in the custody of Grandma and Mommy. Planting flowers, washing her hands, getting candy, peppermint, her favorite. And she was getting escorted all the way back over to the door. The whole 10 steps over to the door to go in. And people were told to watch her. Not ever before was she escorted over to them steps to go in. Not ever before was those children told, watch your sister inside the house. But on June 15th, 2021, all of this shit went down. It was a day like never before. Right? That's what they should call the movie. A day like not ever before. Because it wasn't like ever before. Before, nobody gave a damn where Summer was. It didn't matter if she's outside, inside. It didn't matter where she was running around at. Nobody cared. Jose said those kids ran in and out all day long. Nobody cared. Nobody escorted them anywhere. Nobody was keeping no eyes on them. But on June 15th, Candace was a role model mommy. She didn't ever before dry off and change the kids after swimming. But on June the 15th, she did. She didn't ever before keep an eye on Summer or care where she's at. But on June the 15th, she did. She didn't ever before tell any of those boys to watch the child inside the house. But on June the 15th, she did. Don Wells didn't ever before drive the Subaru, but on June the 14th and 15th, he did. Don Wells didn't ever before fire up his co-worker to blame shit on, but June the 14th, he did. Andy Bernard didn't ever take Jody Sue's vehicle to work either, but on June the 15th, he did. Fred Hill didn't ever have his mother freaking superpowers on, his antenna ears, his mother freaking binocular eyeballs. His mother freaking hypervigilance on. His mother freaking superpower boots running up and down Ben Hill Road. They never had none of that on before, but June 15th he did. June the 15th he was seeing Don Wells, he was seeing Andy Bernard, he was seeing different vehicles, he was seeing all kinds of shit. Oh yeah, dogs hadn't ever been gone before, but June 15th they were gone too, right? All this shit on June the 15th. All of it. That was just one of those really strange Twilight Zone days, right? When everything that didn't happen before happened. Big old animalistic screams. Oh yeah. I'm going to tell you, Fred Hill said a whole lot of things. Fred Hill said a whole lot of stuff. You know, but then again, you know, let's talk about Cotton Simpson. Let's talk about Cotton Simpson. Old Cotton Boy told his mama that he saw Summer in a box down at Fred Hill's. He told other people in his family that he had saw Summer in a box down at Fred Hill's. Said Fred had Summer in a box. That's what he said. Fred Hill had Summer in a box at his house. Now, let's go to Laura, because Laura said, you know, after Fred did her so wrong, you know, like Jody Sue was scorned, Laura was scorned. And Laura said, yeah, Cotton came up here the evening before they found him unalived. He came up here. He was out there with Fred. And him and Fred had a confrontation about Summer. Fred said, when I asked Fred what they were talking about, what they were saying about Summer, Fred said, don't worry about what we was talking about Summer. I'm protecting you, Laura. I'm protecting you. Now, how in the fuck is Fred protecting Laura when it comes to a conversation about Summer Moon Utah Wells? I thought they didn't even know about Summer. I thought these people didn't even know this little girl existed. But then Laura says Summer was down at her house all the time. Jody Sue said, I seen that little girl. All of a sudden, we learn that everybody knows everybody. And we learn that they all know about Summer. They really knew about those Wells kids. They knew damn well about those Wells kids. Because these are the son of a bitches that were up there on that hill all the time. Fred Hill on the hill. Andy and Jody Sue on the hill. Marlena Crawford on the hill. All of these people on the hill. They didn't only know about Summer and those kids, but they knew exactly what the hell was going on up there with these kids. They knew about that abuse. They knew about everything. These people were no strangers to that rain. And they wasn't no strangers to June the 15th. Jody Sue made up a fake fucking scream, and she got it an hour off. And she knows it. And they pulled their boy into it. She pulled her son into it and her daughter. Why? Why? Why would she want to protect the Wells? Why would she want to protect people that she supposedly didn't even know? Why is she wanting to protect them? Don't make no fucking sense to me. I ain't going to make up a fucking lion scream for some neighbor I don't know. I'm not going to make up a fucking lion scream for a neighbor I do know. If I ain't got a dog in that race. If I didn't do nothing, I sure the hell ain't going to be perjuring myself by saying I heard shit I didn't to law enforcement. No way in hell am I going to do that. The only way that I'm going to lie and do some dirty shit like that is if I got a dog in that race. The only way I'm going to do something like that is if there's a possibility that myself or someone I love is going to end up in prison if the truth came out. What I'm saying is if I wasn't wrapped up in the shit, I sure in the hell ain't going to be fucking lying. That's just common damn sense. So that tells you that Jody Sue and them are wrapped up in this. Whatever the fuck it was, they're wrapped up in it. And Fred Hill, man, that guy has lied a fucking minute. And this guy running around saying that he saw Summer in a box down at Fred Hill's place. Well, Freddie boy followed him. Or else, offed him right there at his house. And then had Laura drive the vehicle. And then they tossed him. I don't know how the hell it went down. But pretty sure it did. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. All the guys' cigarettes are gone. And people said that Fred and Laura were smoking the same brand that Cotton Simpson had on his front seat the very evening when he went up there and ended up on a log. So you know, 2 and 2, baby, makes 4. I'm just tired of the damn lies. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of these people, thinking they can come out here and gaslight us and talk shit. What I'm saying is, Fred, if you're not going to tell the truth, the real fucking truth, and you ain't going to help this little girl, and you're going to continue to try to scatter this case to save your own ass, just don't come out here at all. Don't speak at all. Because nobody wants to hear your fucking lies, all your damn gaslighting bullshit to keep this case scattered so it can't be solved. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. Even law enforcement don't want to hear you. You even failed the test when it came to Cotton Simpson's death. It was inconclusive, which means you fucking failed. On the weird flute player, everybody wanted to jump on this flute player. But I'm going to put it in perspective for everybody because, I have really did my research diligently over the last 5 years. I have absolutely watched this case closer than law enforcement has, in my opinion. I don't think they have watched this case as diligently as we have. And I'm going to tell you something. Robin, that church had nothing to do with what happened to Summer. Robin had nothing to do with what happened to Summer. That flute player had nothing to do with what happened to Summer. Absolutely not. These were people that did not affiliate themselves with the Wells except at church. That's the only time they affiliated themselves with the Wells, was at church. And they got drug into this stuff. And they got crucified for no reason. They got crucified for just being part of a church that allowed these evil bastards to slide their feet through the door and lay around like a Norman Rockwell painting on one of their benches. Right? And that's another thing the church had to put up with. They had to put up with old Slow Joe, right? They had to put up with Slow Joe, the guy that popped up at the church and started talking some mad shit like he had some right to know everything about Summer's case. He had some right to know what happened to her. That was really fucking weird. That was really weird. And he had a picture of him with some other little girl. Said it was some friends of his daughter. I didn't like what I was seeing where that guy was concerned. But this is just my opinion. I think that guy was a customer, and I think Don and Candace knew him. Robin didn't know him. The flute player didn't know him. None of the people at the church knew him. But I feel that Don and Candace Wells did. Because Don wouldn't even come in. He stayed on the fucking parking lot, and Candace ran the hell out of there. She got the hell out of, she ran out and got in that vehicle too when she found out that guy showed up. I feel that guy was a customer. I think there was lots of customers. Just saying. That's my opinion. And I think that particular customer felt that he had some fucking right to know what happened. These SAers get an attachment to these people. It's like it's like it's like men that pick up ladies of the night. They get attached to that lady of the night, right? They come back looking for the same one and come back looking for the same one. They got an attachment and they think that they're the bodyguard. If something happens to her, they come wanting to know who did it. They get all out of sorts because they get some kind of bonding to these people. I think that was the case with this weirdo. I mean, that's my opinion. I'll keep it. Just saying. I think that was his motive for showing up. But I do not think that Robin had anything at all to do with what happened to Summer. I think Robin was trying to play in as much as she could to get as much information as she could to help Summer. And to help Summer's case. That's my opinion. I think Robin was willing to help law enforcement however she could with whatever information she could get. Like she said, there is cupcakes and brownies in the basement. And where Summer is, she don't need any. I think Robin wanted to let everybody know that she truly believed Summer was unalived. Summer is in heaven. Where she's at, she needs none of this stuff. That's just my opinion. Now, I do believe that Jody Sue and Andy were involved in all of this somehow because they were willing to lie about screams. They were willing to, to stick their nose in this case diligently. They were willing, Andy ran like hell. As soon as Summer went missing, he ran like hell. Grandis ran like hell. These people were fucking running. Don and Candace even tried to run over into Arkansas after they threw all these people under the bus and got scared. They ran their asses to Arkansas and was trying not to come back. But Don couldn't be in Arkansas because he was too heavy on the shit and couldn't stay off of it. He couldn't hold a job in Arkansas because he got with people and partied too much. And they made him come back to Tennessee. He went back over there and got in the same cesspool that he was in before. And I think Fred Hill and Laura are mixed up in all of this too. I think Chad Arnold. I truly believe that Marlena Crawford, her brother, I think all of them know. I think there's a whole lot of people who know exactly what the hell happened. I believe Allison and her family knew exactly what happened too. True said, I believe that they used my brother. They picked my brother up and they used my brother. That right there is telling you that Summer was unalived at that swimming hole. And all of these fucking people knew it. Even Graham Bunn said, before Summer died. Before she died. Even Graham Bunn said that. And that is, quote, before Summer died. They all fucking knew. They all changed up their routines. They all mother freaking lied. They all freaking knew. They were all in on this. And they know it. And I don't think Hockin County has a fucking prison big enough to put all of these son of a bitches in. Just saying. There you go. That's called America, baby. That's called freedom of speech. That's called not repeating yourself or stuttering twice, right? Absolutely. You don't have to repeat your fucking self when you just say what you want to say. Just put it out there the way it is. Well, you got it the way it is. I'm going to tell you the sad thing about all of this. Is that a little 5-year-old child, a beautiful 5-year-old little girl, ended up destroyed. A little girl that didn't ever get to live five little years of pure hell. Pure hell. And she tried to make the best of it. 5 years of pure abuse, neglect. Tragedy. They inflicted nothing but misery and pain upon these children for their own self-gratifications. And nobody gave a fuck until this little girl paid the price, until this little girl made them give a fuck. Somebody should have gave a fuck long before that. So many opportunities to give a fuck, and authorities didn't. CPS didn't give a shit. Law enforcement didn't give a shit. Nobody gave a shit. And that is how all of these tragedies happen. Because the people that's supposed to give a shit don't. We shouldn't be worrying about these missing children. We're the ones that shouldn't be worrying about it. It's not our job to worry about it. We're supposed to be reading in the papers. We're supposed to be hearing on the news. We're the ones that are supposed to be being notified that law enforcement's doing their damn job. We're the ones that's supposed to hear about the ones who are paid to give a shit, solving the cases, and getting these criminals the fuck off our streets. Right? There you go. We're the ones that's supposed to be stress-free because our tax dollars are paying people who do care and supposed to care and solve the cases. Our tax dollars is paying a court system to do what it takes to make sure these people get put away and not back out here where they can do it again. Our tax dollars are supposed to pay for us to have safety and peace of mind, and we're not getting fucking none of it. But you're not going to. Closed mouths don't get fed, baby. Closed mouths do not get fed. Yeah, I repeated it because, you know what? You want me to shout it for the people in the back? You ain't going to get anything that you don't demand. And people today don't demand shit. I'm going to tell you, we ain't running this country. This country's running us. And that's a fucking fact. It shouldn't be what can we do for our country, because I think we're doing enough. It's what the fuck is our country doing for us? There you go. That's the question. Because we're fucking doing everything. And I don't even want to talk about Donald Trump right now. I don't even want to talk about him. I'm going to tell you, he got in office this time, and he is for the rich. He is not for you. He's not for me. He's not for the people down here. He's for his own. And that's the truth. He's up there building a big ballroom. You think you're going to get to dance on it? Hell no. Shit. He don't even want the poor people to be able to have a fucking soda pop or a birthday cake for their kids anymore, or a fucking candy bar. Okay? Make America fucking healthy. I thought we were making America great again. I thought we were going to take care of our poor people again. I thought we were going to do what's righteous in the sight of God. Not in the sight of fucking a bunch of rich people that want to feel rich by not letting a poor kid have a soda pop or a fucking candy bar. Come on. Yeah. That's what you got up there. You got a bunch of people that don't respect us. They expect us to pay every fucking dime we're making so they can live large. And they feel they're not living large enough. They feel that every time they turn around, they need to take more from us so they can live fucking better. You know, I have to ask, where is our tax dollars going? It's not going to take care of our poor no more. It's not going to fix our roads. I mean, there's fucking potholes that could bury a human. And your fucking car too. Your fucking car be your damn casket. Them damn potholes are so big. Come on. And they're getting away with it because America don't know how to stand up. They don't know how to stand together. They're so fucking divided in all of their penny-ante bullshit. that they can't stand together anymore. Well, if you don't have a strong foundation, it's going to crumble. And you can blame nobody for that but yourselves, right? We got to blame ourselves. We're too busy in this box. We're too busy in this box. Instead of being out there where we once was. They wouldn't dare do this. They wouldn't dare do this to the old folks. The old folks said, throw that TV out the fucking door. I ain't going to have something that takes my mind off of what's most important. And that's who's running this country, how they're running this country, and where the hell my tax dollars are going. You work for us. We don't work for you. And I'm going to tell you, those old folks, they got roads laid where there was no roads. They seen their tax dollars at work. They seen the pavement going down in front of their homes. They seen the electric going into their places. They seen their tax dollars at work. But they demanded them to be at work. People today are not demanding shit. They're sitting around saying, who gives a fuck? And they're watching America go to hell. And they're watching other countries laugh at us. Other countries becoming richer than we are. Off of us. Off of us. We're buying their shit. Because we ain't making shit on our own any longer. American made used to be, people used to have pride. They didn't buy shit that wasn't American made. But now they're buying all that shit out of China, right? You're making China more powerful than yourself. And we're too dumb to know it. We don't need all of this stuff. We don't need it. It's better to have less and be powerful in this country than to have all that junk. And that's what it is. It's junk. And be broke all the time. We're handing our money. We're handing all of our money to other people. Look at our grocery stores. Where's all the good food? We're getting sloppy fucking seconds. Take a look. Next time you go to your grocery store, take a look. Your shit looks like it's been sitting out in the middle of an ocean for fucking years. And then throw it in there for you to eat it. Just saying. Just saying. So it don't surprise me when law enforcement isn't doing their job. The court system isn't doing their job. Child Protective Services isn't. Everybody wants a paycheck and nobody wants to work for it. That's what America has become. It used to be that they gave you stuff for, they would give you things for your business. Like if you went into a place and you bought flowers for someone's birthday, they had the little happy birthday things, the little trinkets that you could put down in the flowers for free. Now you got to pay for them. They used to give you all the condiments you wanted. Now you got to fucking pay for them or ask for them. If you don't ask, you don't get them. Even if they are free, you better ask. It's your job. You walk in a restaurant, them fuckers act like they own it and they don't care if you buy anything or not, and they treat you like shit. And you put up with it because they're making your food. And they know they got you over the barrel. We're making your food, bitches. You'll be nice to us, or you can start stepping. Nobody treats you with respect anymore. Respect is out the window. You're sitting there putting up with all these evil fuckers shit to get a hamburger. Well, I tell you what, I'll make my fucking hamburger at home. I don't need their shit. I'm not going to go in there and put up with people's fucking attitudes and feel less than when they're taking my money. I'm paying their fucking wages. They ain't paying mine. And to treat people the way they do, I don't need it. I don't need it. And that's the way the old American people were. You didn't treat them with the utmost respect, fuck you. Your shit wouldn't be selling. Those people had pride. They had pride. They had morals. And they didn't tolerate anybody that didn't. You became an outcast when you didn't. Just saying. You ever notice you go to a restaurant and they seem to have all the good stuff? You notice when you go to your supermarket, you seem to get all the shit. Yeah. Because money talks. They put all of those big restaurant chains and everything ahead of all of us. It's just the way it is. We got a lot bigger problems in this country than we want to address. There is a lot of evilness going on in this country right now. And it's for no reason. No reason. Other than that's what the rich people want the attraction to be. And it is. It is. They keep us divided. They keep us divided to keep the focus off of them. They're doing the same thing Dom Wells and Candace and Grant has done. If anything from this case, if you've learned anything from this case at all, you have learned the way people will throw everything under a bus in order to keep the focus off themselves. Well, we're all getting thrown under buses. We're getting divided. Instead of learning to stand together as people once did, with love, kindness, and caring, we are learning to be divided with hatred. Because that's what the devil wants. That's what rich people want. Rich people want to feel rich. They want to feel like they can buy their kid a soda pop and a candy bar. And look at that little poor kid there. I wish it had a candy bar, but That's how it is for poor people. You don't ever want to be poor, son. Education, education. It ain't about education. It's about who the fuck you know. It's about who your daddy is, who your grandpa was, who your great-grandpa was. It's a fucking monopoly that's all sewed up. They like to sit around, you have these people sit around saying, oh, I used to be poor and I did it. And then you find out that their mother freaking background, they came from rich grandpas and rich daddies. And the Hollywood shit was handed down to them. They were already in Hollywood. They weren't poor no fucking where. They didn't climb no fucking ladders. It was handed to them on a silver platter. And all of their stuff was nothing but bullshit. That's the way, they want to gaslight you up. They want to try to disconnect the way the Bernards wanted to disconnect from the Wells, and the Wells wanted to disconnect from the mother freaking Hills. All of these people wanted to disconnect. To make themselves sound like, victims too. They wanted to sound like, part of the solution instead of the fucking problem that they was. And I'm surprised that people just don't want to use their brains anymore. What do you think God gave it to us for? Just to sit around in our fucking head and do nothing? This country better get off its ass. That's all I got to say. Because this country's becoming real lazy. And the Bible says they'll be weaker but wiser. They'll be weaker but wiser. And what are people today? They're weak because they're sitting in a chair all the time. They're sitting inside their houses. They got the doors locked and the windows shut, and they're sitting in front of this box 24/7. It's their only communication. They're not out there getting no exercise. They're not out there doing nothing. They're all, even the children, are all sitting inside a house, game machines or this or that. Oh, they're wiser, all right. Of course they're wiser. They got a phone that spells for them. They got, all this internet stuff where they can research and do everything and find out whatever they want. I mean, yeah, you're so much wiser. But that ass is getting weak. It ain't healthy to be sitting around all the time. And what this box does? It makes you lazy. It makes you lazy. It makes you not want to do nothing all day other than get something to eat. Do what work you have to do and get back and get back on this stuff as much as you can. Spend as much time as you can on your phone or on your computer or on your freaking tablet. Right? They don't have to know how to spell. The phone spells it all for them. The computer spells it all for you. You don't know, if you just got mother freaking 2 or 3 letters of a word, it'll pop up what you want. You don't have to use your brain. Everybody's brain is relying on one big brain. It's called the beast. That's what they call it. The main brain of all of these computers and stuff is called the beast. Yeah, think about that. Just saying. Now I'm going to tell you, my kids are hooked on phonics. That's one thing, one thing that I believe in. I believe in, no child is ever too young to start learning. No child is too young to start learning their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s. No child is too young to read that Bible to. No child is too young. You got to bring that child up with the Bible. You got to bring that child up with education. You got to bring that child up right. Because in this world today, if you do not raise that child right, this world will devour it. And that's the truth. Evil will make sure it makes it evil. I'm with you, Denny. I cannot sit around either. I am not a sit around person. I have got to be up. I have got to be doing stuff. I am one of those people. I got to go. I got to go here. I got to go there. I got too much stuff to do. I cannot stand to sit. I like to be up. I like to be moving. A lot of people don't. I'm going to tell you something. I visit quite a few places. I visit, quite a few people. I'm not into that. Oh, check on people through Facebooks. No, because people on Facebook don't, they either make it seem like everything's so bad or everything's so good. I like to pop up. I like to see the real life. I visit a lot of people. I'm going to tell you, 95% of them sitting on their ass. They're sitting on phones. They're sitting on computers. They're sitting watching TVs. They're sitting. Their house is all locked up. You got to knock on the door. As soon as you go in, they lock it back. And they're sitting. And they don't go visit people. They don't go visit people. They don't even really call people. They text. They text their family. They check on their family through Facebook. Oh, so-and-so is doing this. I said, oh, really? Did you go visit with them? No, seen it on Facebook. So-and-so just got a new this or that. How'd you know that? Seen it on Facebook. Oh, so-and-so's daughter just came into a little windfall. How'd you know that? I was texting. I text. They text me back. Wow. Yeah, well, that sounds beautiful. You're always out running around, ain't you, sissy? Yeah, I am. I like to get out and run around. I like to go visiting folks. I have some people say, oh, you come by to check on me, haven't you? I say, I sure did. Well, could you run to the pharmacy for me? Sure. They got 5 kids, but none of them's running to the pharmacy. None of them stopping at the store picking up the few things that their parent needs. This is a sad world. A sad world. When's the last time you seen so and so and so and so? Oh, they call me once in a while. They're busy. You know how it is. No, I don't. I don't know how it is. I don't get that busy. I think we've learned a lot from Summer's case. I think Summer's case has opened our eyes up to a lot of things. You know, nothing but good has come out of this baby's case from day one. That little girl disappeared, but you know what? Her brothers. She saved her brothers. She built a multitude of people out here who never knew each other before, but have become family. That little girl, watching her parents has opened our eyes up. To these gaslighting motherfuckers. They showed us how evil operates. We've got a real inside look on what a hold the devil's got on evil people and how he uses them to do his dirty, evil biddings and the tricks he uses to try to gaslight people up so them evil people can get away with their evilness. He's opened our eyes to how evil was able to turn law enforcement into not giving a damn. How it's been able to turn the court system into not giving a damn. How it's turned the whole world into just not giving a damn. People really are on their own. And that's the truth in this world today. You're on your own. Nobody cares. And everything's about the dollar. Oh, Mrs. Bunny. Mrs. Bunny right here. This is Jody Sue. What is she talking about? I'll tell you what she's talking about. She's talking about Summer being in a cemetery. That's what she's talking about. She's talking about how she believes Summer is right there, in a cemetery. Yeah, right? This is Bunny. Freshly dug grave. There was a freshly dug grave. Yeah, Timothy Morrison's.
I have said this since the beginning to people that made a difference. That I've told people about having the dream that I've, in the open grave. It's been told. It's not a lie. And I have heard my whole life that the best time to get rid of somebody is when there's an open grave. The dude was buried on what day? The 18th? Okay, so 3 days after Summer went missing, they buried that dude. Do you think they dug the grave the day that Summer went missing? I'm saying it was dug between the day the dude died and the day Summer went missing, the 11th. Not if she went over there on the 15th when Candace left at some point in time off that fucking hill, took her over there. Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred helped her. If it was on the 15th.
Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred helped her. See, that's what these guys are doing. They're playing that game. Let's blame one another. And even if we're telling the truth, they won't know who's telling the truth. Well, I'm gonna tell you, it ain't hard to understand what the truth is. Grandma used her knee to go into Kingsport in order to pick up Hunter. They picked up, that's why they was really there, is to pick up Hunter to go to that swimming hole, to do the dirty deed that they wanted done. And they went there and it got done, in my opinion. Then they take him back to the house. He's all whacked out because of what the fuck happened. I don't think he understood, the ratifications of doing something like that until it was done. He just was wanting to look like a thug, be big, show off. Yeah, I can do it. Well, he found out that it was a little fucking harder than he thought once it was done. And I think that Allison felt that her son was used. I think she felt, that she had to help cover it up for her son's sake, that these fuckers did a dirty thing by using her son, and her son shouldn't go to prison because of what these fucking adult people did, used him to do. And she was willing to keep her son out of jail at all cost after they used him like that. And she did. But I believe it cost her. I believe it, I believe that Don and Candace created a monster in her boy. But that's her fault for allowing them to have a hand in her son's life. What I'm saying is, Allison allowed Don and Candace to groom her children and to turn her children the way they were, and to get her children to do things that should not be done. She could blame herself for all of that. And they created a monster in her boy. And I believe that Leslie knew something that she wanted to go to law enforcement with, and Leslie ended up unalived. And Allison, once her boy, started turning on her and acting hard ass with her, she wanted to go to the police, and she ended up unalived. I think Don and Candace at that swimming hole created a murderer, if you ask me. That's my opinion. I will keep it. Now, they got back to Ben Hill Road. I do not believe Summer was alive at all on those milk jugs. That was a prop job. And they went down to Fred Hill's house and met up with Chad Arnold, and I believe Fred and Laura as well. I believe Fred knows exactly, and I do believe, this is my opinion, that Cotton Simpson was there as well. I think Cotton knew what happened. I think he was afraid for his life. And he told his mother, he told some of his family about it because he was afraid that people like that would end up unaliving him. And I believe they did. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. I believe that two people, Jody Sue and Andy, Jody Sue made up a false scream and everything else. She had her hand in this, and both of them are talking about that particular gravesite across the road. Talking about how they could put her down in there and law enforcement wouldn't even look because they don't want to disturb someone else's grave, especially Timothy Morson's grave, because law enforcement and that Morson family had a big conflict going between them. So they certainly wasn't going to go over there around his particular grave. So they took time to put somewhere in there before they even called law enforcement, knowing she'd be concealed down in there, right underneath their noses, the whole time they're searching. The whole time they're running everything. She's right there. And that's why Candace says Summer always be with me, because she's right there. But you can't get none of these people off their fucking ass to go over there and check and get her out of there. And if you can't get them to do what's righteous in the sight of God, to find the little girl, then there's nothing else you can do. It's just the way it is. And that's our society. And there has to be something way bigger in Summer's case than this, this bunch of crud balls doing what they was doing. It has to be way bigger than that. This has to be some type of operation that's got people in it that just don't want the case solved. Because a case like this could have been solved a long time ago. That's my opinion too. But Fred Hill really needs to just stop fucking lying. Andy did not send his son up there to get Summer. Andy's son did not go over there and get Summer. Andy's son was too fucking busy hanging with mommy and getting ready to tell the big fucking lies once this little girl was reported missing. That's my opinion. I will keep it. They was too busy protecting their fucking asses to be doing anything else. Andy Bernard kept his ass at work the whole fucking day because he knew what was going to go down. And Dom Wells hid at work the whole day too because he knew what was going to go down. They already knew. They knew that Candace was going into Kingsport to get Hunter to do a dirty deed. They knew that little girl's coming back to Ben Hill, meeting up with other people to do the other part of it, to hide her away. That's just the way it is. It was planned, and it had been planned for a New York minute. And they know it. And I think law enforcement knows it. And I don't understand why they're not prosecuting it. But this new sheriff just might. And it sounds like Ronnie Lawson is working damn hard to get it done before the new sheriff does. So we're just going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see exactly what happens, right? I'm going to tell you, those kids were all victims. All of those children, all of those kids. Hunter was a victim. He was a 15-year-old, punk ass kid. He was just one of those kids, that wanted to act rough and tough and to be honest with you, I think that Hunter was special needs and Candace and Don Wells and them took advantage of it. I think that Hunter, I don't believe that, he ever had the right upbringing. He was raised around, pure evilness. He was raised around people that, thought that all of that stupidity was, was the way to go. That was, that was the cool thing to do. He just fell into the trap. He fell into the trap. He got groomed. He got groomed in that way. And he's got to live with something the rest of his life that could eventually destroy him because of evil fucking human beings off of Ben Hill Road. Because he was subject to the most evil motherfuckers a child could ever be subject to. They acted like his friend when they weren't his friend at all. Your friends do not put you through that type of mental trauma. Your friends do not give you illegal substances. They try to keep you away from them. Your true friends try to get you to walk in a better, more righteous path. Your friends, true friends, try to get you educated. True friends try to pull you out of all of that bullshit. True friends want to see the best for you, not the worst. True friends don't take you somewhere and set you up the way Candace and Grandis set that boy up that day. They don't do it. Those motherfuckers were using and abusing everyone they could. And they tried to use and abuse this system out here, this true crime community. They try to use and abuse it too. They were looking to just use and abuse everyone out here that they could. And they used and abused a hell of a lot. And every one of those people paid the price. Every one of them paid the price. Every one of them has to sit and think how they mother freaking supported evil now. When that paper came out and everybody seen the fucking truth about what those children went through, everyone that gave the Wells even $1 has to fucking digest that. They have to digest the fact that they supported pure fucking evilness. Yeah. Just saying. All these creators that was kissing their backsides. Be my friend, be my friend, be my friend. Why can't you be my friend? Well, they got to digest that. All these mother freakers that went around them and ended up getting all that bad juju on their ass, well, they got to digest that. Right? That shit's hard to digest. But you should have stayed on the righteous side. You should have stuck with God Almighty, and you should have stayed with the victim, and fuck them damn suspects. Wouldn't give them a hot cup of piss if they were thirsty. If they were sitting in hell. Because people who abuse children don't deserve a hot cup of piss in hell. And that's the truth. Like I said from the beginning, I don't support them bastards. Didn't ever support them. Ain't about to support them. I supported Summer from day one. And them motherfuckers know it. They know it. And you know what Don Wells told me? He said, Sissy, I have respect for you. Regardless the outcome, I have all respect for you. Because you've always been for Summer. You've always been for her. Even if he ends up in prison, he respects the fact that I've always been for the victim and not their fucking dirty asses. He has to respect that, is what he said. There you go. And that was right out of the mouth of that piece of shit. And everybody else was kissing his ass. No. Let me tell you something. I'm no ass kisser. Ain't ever been one. Ain't about to become one. Hell no. There ain't a damn thing in this fucking life that I want enough to kiss somebody's ass. But Benny Keys is. That Sheer is. And I can name a whole hell of a lot of others. But I won't. I'm going to be nice tonight. I'm going to be nice. Yeah, I said it twice because it was worth saying. I got to convince my fucking self to be nice because I don't want to be. I don't want to be. Because I dislike people who hurt children. And I dislike people that kiss the backsides of people who hurt children. Just saying. They probably are. They probably are, little PG. Absolutely. I'm sure that they have to buy plenty of chapstick with 4.5 years of kissing that backside. And 4.5 years is the ones that came in fucking late. The ones that were late to the party, like Benny Keys. Cher's been using it for 5 years consecutively. Right? She even sent that mother freaker butt pics in order to get nothing. Right? To get nothing. Like she got nothing. Wow. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Just saying. Anyway, you guys, PG is heading out of here. As I said, this case could be solved. Do I believe that Andy Bernard sent his son up there to get Summer like Fred's trying? Hell no. Hell no. But I do believe Andy when he said that Fred helped Candace, because that's whose house Candace ran to meet up with Chad. That's Chad was connected to digging the graves around there. Andy sent Candace a text saying it's done. Meaning the grave is dug. They've got everything set up for Summer to be put in there. Under the vault, under a casket, where she won't ever be found. And she won't. Unless law enforcement gets off their ass and goes takes a look. Why they're not doing it, I don't know. Maybe they have to check a whole lot of other things before they check that. But hopefully they get to it. Before Summer's 20 instead of 10. Right? 5 years wasted. And if she's down inside of there, that's not going to look good on law enforcement, is it? Because we've been telling them for over a fucking year now to go look, go look, go look. And they haven't looked yet. Just saying. But we'll keep trying. We're not going to give up on Summer. We're not going to give up on that grave being looked into. Too many people want that grave looked into. And it's going to get looked into at some point. Because people are not going to stop calling. They're not going to stop. Just saying. That's one way to get it done, PG's little girl. Like I said, closed mouths don't get fed. You want shit done, you got to do what it takes to get it done. You got to be willing to do, at all costs. You got to be willing to do what it takes. We just got to keep moving forward. Our bucket list has holes. I appreciate that. I appreciate everything you do, girl. I really do. I wanted to stop the live last night and let bucket list have holes know how much I appreciate all of her prayers and love and kindness and caring that she shows me and my family. It's so appreciated. And so many of you. Australia shows a lot of love and kindness and caring to us as well. PG's little girl, Deputy, whole lot of you are so kind, so caring. And I want to let you know how much I appreciate it. I really do. I don't say it enough. I know I don't say it enough. But I absolutely appreciate all the kindness and love out here. I appreciate each and every one of you being here all the time for Summer, being a voice for the voiceless. God bless you. You guys are amazing. Don't ever let no one tell you you're not, because you are. And I so appreciate it. But these evil people just make us so upset. They underestimate our intelligence level, and we don't fucking like that. And we don't like law enforcement not doing what it takes to get these cases out here solved. We don't like a whole lot of things. But we're going to keep doing everything we can to change it. Because that's what we do. And God bless us for that. At least we're not giving up. We're not giving up. Even though sometimes we probably feel like it. I know I do sometimes. But God doesn't let us, does he? He still puts our feet right here where they are. Fighting like hell to get justice. That's our calling. That's our calling. And I think we're doing a good job of it. And we'll continue. We'll be here as long as God wants us. Ain't nothing we can do about it. We're hooked now. Right? We're hooked now. And we're going to continue to do all we can for these missing children. You know, I went over to Brooks the other day, and she was talking about a case where this woman actually tried to take another woman's baby, and neither one of them survived. It was her friend. She attacked her own friend and tried to steal her baby away out of the woman's stomach. And she got, she's going to get on alive. She got put on death row. But I felt that she should have had to stay in prison. I felt that it would have been harder. It's harder. Sometimes it's harder to live than to die. Especially when you have to sit in prison and have that reminder every day of why you're there. I think it's harder to live in isolation, because that's the only thing that keeps, coming back to your mind is why you're there, why you're isolated. It's like a sick person in bed. That's all they can think about is why they're there. They want it to go away, but it doesn't. And that's kind of like it is, with this person's life in prison. They want it to go away, but it's not going to. They got to accept they did it. They got to accept the consequences, of their isolation for doing it. It's really hard to accept. It always eats at you and eats at you and eats at you. And I thought that, life in prison would have been better. I went and researched somewhat into some of these cases. And it happens a lot more often than you think. It's very dangerous in this world. You got so many people destroying children, and you got a whole lot of people willing to destroy to get one. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, I think the hardest thing in this world, you know, the Bible tells us to pray for our enemies, to pray for these sinners, these bad people, to pray for them. I think that's the hardest thing in the world, is to pray for people who do evil. It's very hard to pray for them people. I guess, I guess that's how you get your white gown, right? That's how you win your white gown. Is, I guess God feels that, if you could pray for people who do you so wrong in this world, people who are so evil, then you belong in heaven. But I think it's the hardest thing that anyone can do, because you don't want to pray for them. You just don't. Especially when they hurt children, they hurt old people, or they hurt people you love. It's super hard. But don't forget to pray for one another. Don't forget to pray for Summer, Moon, Utah Wells. God's brought us so far in this case. Let us pray that He continues to give us the answers. Let us pray that He uncovers Summer wherever she is on this earth. I know Summer's in heaven. I know that. But I sure wish God would uncover what's left of her on this earth so we can lay her to rest properly. So we will know the truth and able to put the evil people in prison and give her brothers the peace and the comfort that they need, knowing that they had nothing to do with the evil scam that caused this little girl to disappear. They need to know none of this was their fault. None of it. It's very important the truth be told, for everyone's sake, including Summers. And I know God can do that. With God, all things are possible. All things. Nothing's impossible. And I know He can do this. So keep those prayers going up for this little girl in the name of Jesus. Amen. Keep them going up for Michael, Sebastian, Jack and Lily, Emmanuel, Genesis. Keep them going up for Austin. He's a young boy that his family's going through so much. His dad's everywhere. His dad's everywhere right now. What a tragedy. He was a twin. He's no longer here because evil decided to take him away. And keep Nancy in your prayers too. Keep all of these people in your prayers. You know, it doesn't matter how long ago, like the Idaho 4, it doesn't matter how long ago these people lost their loved ones. Sometimes it hurts so much more later than it did at the beginning. At the beginning, you're all in shock and everything. It's down the road, it gets you. So keep the prayers going up. So many people in this world need prayer. God knows who they are, and God knows what they want, what they need. And that's all you got to tell God, is you know He knows. And you sure would like to pray for Him. In the name of Jesus, amen. Good night, everybody. God bless. Much love.